Church of Saugatuck, Michigan, here on the beautiful shores of the River Kalamazoo. And we were delighted to receive one of the Sharing Vitality grants this year, sponsored, of course, by the Vitality Council of the National Association of Congregational Christian Churches. And I wanted to share with you a bit about what we did. So we had $2,500 to put towards upgrading our live stream setup. So many of our churches, of course, invested in reasonable live streaming technology during the COVID days. We certainly did. But now, 5-6 years later, technology has come along so far that we were really hoping to expand what we offer our online worshipers. And so if you're in the same boat, climb on in, and I want to share with you what we've been doing, because this is meant to be kind of a practical thing. You can take what we're doing or give some feedback, share what you're doing as well. I'm really hoping to have this video posted before the annual meeting so that when we see each other in person in Springfield, we can talk live streaming setups. So this is, if you're familiar with the YouTube world at all, this is kind of the unboxing video. I'm feeling like an influencer today. I'm going to share with you the equipment that we purchased and what it looks like in our sanctuary. I've got it all fired up here, and yeah, very practical video to stir up some conversation. So one note about motivation, what's brought this all along. So last year I celebrated 10 years here in Saugatuck, and to celebrate, last summer I did a listening tour where everyone in the congregation got a visit and we exchanged ideas, made sure everyone was feeling included. And one thing that I heard excuse me, again and again from our folks who worship with us regularly online was that they were really bored with just the one camera angle, looking at the chancel or zooming in on the pastor during the sermon, and then that was it. One practical piece of feedback I got was that maybe an additional camera angle, maybe on the congregation during hymn singing, or even to see the accompanist for the worship service, might make people feel more engaged, more involved, more present in the actual worship space. They said, we want to see the people. That was what one person said. We want to see the people again and again. So this is our effort to help people feel more engaged, more involved during the worship hour. And so this is the technical solution, and then we're going to kind of take it from here. We're hoping to acknowledge our online viewers a bit more, really seeking to validate online participation and presence within the congregation. So we're thinking creatively about all of that. Okay, we had considered installing a couple of PTZ cameras in the sanctuary here. PTZ stands for pan, tilt, and zoom. Those are kind of those eyeball-looking cameras that we see in worship spaces very commonly. Those are hardwired and connected to a switcher at like the tech desk in the back. And they have a little joystick usually, or little buttons with arrows on them to manage the tilting and panning and zooming that they do. And so we looked into that, and we had a quote for about $20,000 to install a couple of those to hardwire them into the sanctuary, which was way out of our budget. We needed something that was much more affordable, and not to mention would be really volunteer friendly, very kind of user intuitive. Because I don't know about you, but we have volunteers that switch out to manage our live stream and worship slides and all the tech desk stuff. And so it needed to be really teachable, really manageable for our volunteers. So I got to talking with Rob Tarr. He's the current chair of Vitality. He's the pastor down at Gehenna Community Congregational Church in Ohio. I got to talking to him about the camera system that they use, which is the Logitech Mevo camera system. And they had been using it for a couple of years. had pretty good results, and he knew that technology had even come along in those couple of years, and encouraged me to look into the product. And it did. And it looked like a really flexible, affordable solution for what we were looking for. So that's what I'm going to show you today, the Logitech Mevo camera system. Okay, let me put up a little picture here real quick. Scrolling. So this is what we purchased. You can see here that we ordered on the bottom is the Mevo starter pack with 3 cameras. Then we ordered 3 of the Mevo Logitech table stands, and we ordered a new iPad to run the app off of. And I'm going to put up the cost breakdown of everything that we purchased very soon, because I know that that's really, really important. And so this system is completely wireless. There's no plugs, no hard wiring. If you have a steady Wi-Fi signal, these cameras will connect to each other, and they'll connect to the app. So these cameras are all 4K, so high definition cameras, and they're really little. Let me show you one real quick. Let me get the screen back up. They're very little and unobtrusive. And so this is one of the cameras. That's it. Oh yeah, see our little label note there. That's it for these cameras. So we have 3 of these in the room. Let me get a different angle on the room. And so here is, we have one situated on the organ. I'm waving, hi. I'm at the tech desk in the back. And then we have one situated for where you can see the pulpit. And of course you can zoom in a little bit, zoom out a little bit on there. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, the one at the tech desk I have focused on me for our talk. And then the cool thing about this system, and I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when I talk about the app, is that you can add as many devices as you want to. And so anything with a camera that can scan a QR code and download an app, you can use for a camera or a microphone. You could use it as just a microphone as well. And so I have right now my cell phone set up. Let me show you somewhere I have my cell phone set up. Oh, here it is. I have my cell phone set up right there to see the piano and the organ. So my cell phone camera is acting as a 4th camera in the worship space. And I have my iPad, which I generally preach off of, set up right next to me so that I can show you the app here in just a little bit. It's propped up on a stack of Bibles and overlooking my coffee cup at the moment, but you can add in as many devices as you want. There's an app for that called the Mevo Go that you can put on your phone, iPad, anything, to act as additional microphone sources and cameras. So this sound quality right now, we're in a big echoey worship hall, of course. This is the sound quality that we have on Sunday mornings. We do not currently have our Mevo system hooked up to the sound system, even though you can run the sound system to your iPad where you're streaming from. We did that right out the gate, but we did something kind of funky, because as soon as we did that, it sounded like my voice was like 5 octaves higher. I sounded like a little mouse. And so we're looking at still connecting our sound system to our iPad. That might be a cord issue or even an equipment issue on our end for our sound system. But we're just using the sound off of the cameras themselves right now, and I think we're getting a pretty good result. And you could add directly onto the cameras, any of them, even these little guys. You can add in like a shotgun mic. There's a 3mm port in the back that you could add in whatever camera or whatever microphone you wanted directly on the camera unit itself. But I do know that you can connect your soundboard, if you have an auxiliary out, to the iPad where you're streaming to pull your sound directly from there. And I'm working on that. So that's still something that we are navigating. Rob is working on that as well. Okay, so where were we at? Oh, yes. One of the real assets for this being a totally wireless camera system is that you can set it up anywhere. The congregation is going to be worshiping in the fellowship hall come September this year because we're replacing the carpet in the sanctuary, and it's going to be kind of a time-consuming project. And so all of the cameras, nothing's mounted, so we'll just take it downstairs to fellowship hall and set it up there. We'll have all 3 cameras, most likely. Easy peasy setup, just move the live stream that way. So very flexible. You could even, if you have a Wi-Fi signal, the app will run very easily. I have not tried this feature yet, but if you do not have a Wi-Fi signal, like if you're live streaming outside or in the woods or at a park somewhere, you're worshiping outside, and you don't have a steady live stream, you can use a cell signal. These cameras will pick up on a cell signal. They'll talk to each other. As long as they're within 20 feet of each other, they can use a common cell signal to live stream as well, which is kind of cool. I have not tried that yet to see how well that works. Yes. Okay, so where are we at? Let's see. Oh, yes. So we have these 3 cameras, which I showed you. This is the starter pack. We did notice that this distance here was a bit challenging for that much. I'm here in the back waving at you. I even got the ring light out today. That reminds me of COVID days. So I've got a little lighting back here to help. But this distance from the organ all the way to the back, or the pulpit all the way to the back, was a bit too much. This is about maybe 60 to 80 feet. From there. What is that, like 12 pews deep? And so it's a bit of a distance here. And so we noticed that the little cameras, when you zoomed in on the chancel or on the pulpit from that distance, everything kind of got washed out. Everything became very monotone in color. It was just too much of a distance. And so we did purchase, let me show you my product screen again. That middle box there is called the Mevo Core. This is the beefier camera in the Mevo world, 4K, again, high definition. And this camera is meant to accommodate lenses. There's no built-in lens. You have to attach whatever lens you want to use. So you could use a 30-time multiplying lens to get really close-up views, but we currently, let me show you what we have currently. We put the Mevo Core up on the tech desk, which is the main camera that I'm talking into today, but we used an Olympus 3 times magnifying lens, a very basic kind of starter lens, just 3 times magnifying. It was about $140. Lenses can be kind of expensive, but you can use any lens that you want at any capacity. You could even use one of those giant sports action zooming lenses, as long as it fits the connecting, I forget the, what is it, 14 by 42 millimeter, as long as it fits the mounting, you could use it. So you can use, so it's very flexible that way as well. But we have just the Olympus 3-time zoom lens on it right now, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job in here. I think ideally I'd like a 10-time zoom lens to really be able to zoom in on things happening in the chancel area. But also we have a poet every Sunday, someone that reads a poem, and a liturgist that are on kind of the other side of the room than the pulpit, to be able to zoom in on people's faces when they're doing their presentation would be good. We could always add in more of these guys, but we did opt for the beefier Mevo Core camera to accommodate that. And then I'll put a link in the video description. I really feel like an influencer saying that for our basic Olympus lens, just as a starting kind of jumping point as you look into lenses. It'll have the connection information as well on that. Okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this. This is what our tech desk looks like during the week. You'll notice that the 3 little cameras are plugged in and charging, and we have an iPad that runs the app for our live stream. And then in the back there you see the stand where we mount that Mevo core. And that's it. Look how small this setup is. It's just an iPad and then just the charging dock for the cameras, and that's it. That little red box off to the right, that's a Focusrite. That's the device I'm kind of arguing with at the moment to try to pull sound from our sound system. So that may or may not be part of our setup in the future. I'm still working on that, but that's it. We have an iPad here that runs our sound system. We have like a little electronic mixer board on an iPad, and then we have the iPad that's streaming the service. So on a Sunday morning we have 2 iPads on the table and that stand in the back, and that's it. So it's really really flexible. I'm going to take these pictures down there. I think I wanted to show you the app. Oh, sorry, one more thing about the cameras. We've noticed that they hold at least a 3-hour charge, which is what you would need for a live stream worship service. Usually we get these set up and plugged in and fired up about 9:15 in the morning. We go live about 9:55 for our 10 o'clock service, and we have plenty of charge left over at the end of the worship service. So you could go for an hour or 2 hours, and everything stays connected. Again, this is all pre-charged. There's no wires anywhere with this system. It's totally wireless. Okay, so let me show you the app that we use for streaming. I gotta slide over my pile of Bibles. Check this out. It's kind of cool that you can use any device with a camera. You can add it in. And so I'm going to turn on this iPad that I have propped up on a hurricane glass and a stack of Bibles. Okay, here we are. So now you're looking down at the app that we are recording on right now. Let's see, is that comfy? That's pretty comfy. And so along the screen here, there are all your different options for sending live. And so let me show you a few things. These are the camera images. I could just tap to turn them on, just tap to switch, tap to switch. They switch very easily. And I can put up little infographs like this. These are called lower thirds. There's my name. And I can turn it off with just a tap. And let me show you how we do our hymns on Sunday morning. So we tap this, and it sends the hymn image live. And then we just scroll through. Let me do it for you. So here we are, and then we just scroll through the verses. That's it. And then you tap to turn it off, like I just did there. And those are our hymn slides. And so maybe you can see it's a little light on the recording, but there's just a forward and back button to scroll through. So very user-friendly. And all of this can be kind of pre-uploaded during the week, and when you turn on your iPad in the morning, you're all ready to go. And so this is my connection up front to the camera, and then I've got these pictures down here. These are slide overlays. That's what they're called. They're full screen slides, and these are all just uploaded JPEGs that I can put on, and I could even edit them down to shrink a little bit if I wanted to. The hymns are PDF slide decks, and so I upload them as a group PDF. But these photos down here that I've been flipping through are just JPEGs. And all of this is material that I pull from my iCloud. I create them on my computer, upload them to my iCloud, and then this iPad accesses them. And so I just pull them. And so it's very easy. You don't have to email yourself slide decks and things like that. And if you're a non-Mac user, you could upload these to like your Google Drive, and the Mevo Studio app would connect to your Google Drive as well. And again, there's no emailing yourself content. You can just pull from the cloud, whatever style cloud that you use. And so this app, we opted for the Mevo Pro app, which is what we're looking at here, because it has there is a free version to connect all of this, but we opted for the subscription version, the professional one, which is $149 annually, because you can do that Mevo Go thing where you connect other cameras, your phone and your iPad and all that kind of stuff, and you can stream to multiple platforms at once, which was the big decider for us. We stream to Facebook and YouTube every Sunday, and you could also stream to Twitch, X, Vimeo, LinkedIn Live, if anyone actually uses that, and you can do all of that simultaneously. And also, you might notice up in the corner over here, it says live, record, and out. You can preset your lives, your streams, so you can go in, like I go into YouTube during the week and set up my live stream. I even upload the thumbnail I want to show for the worship service, and I pre-do all of that, and so it's all set up and ready to go. I would push that button, but then it would kind of end what we're looking at now. But I just activate the live, and it's very, very easy. Right now I'm recording, and so this is saving to the device. And then I could, that out button right there, I could have all these cameras fired up and have it on Zoom or record it as a webinar and stream through a platform like that. If you were a gamer, you could stream to Twitch and have other people's live cameras wherever you're at do that. Excuse me. And so it's very the system is very flexible for your various platforms. Let's see. Down here, let me scoot this up a little bit. You have all of your audios options, and so I can make audio live through any of the cameras, or I could record through the iPad itself, or I could have sound come from the soundboard, but again, I'm still wrestling with that. So it's very, very easy to navigate slides and change your camera angle, or your camera views. I think, oh no, I can't do that. So to zooming takes a little bit of finesse. So zooming in this, you open up your image, the view that you're streaming, and you have to click on a button that says image creator, and you kind of pinch or pull your image to zoom in and out. And so it's very doable if you just have a little practice with that, and it just has a little bit of finesse. And so you zoom and then send the image live. And so you'd want to be focusing on a different image while you're adjusting that, and then send your readjusted image live. And so that has been just a bit of finesse for our volunteers. Okay, let me get to cost. There we go. Here we go. Let me put up the image here. Okay, so here is what we have invested in this project so far. The starter pack, that was the 3 cameras, the 3 small cameras, is $1,150. And then we did opt to add in that one super beefy camera, the Mevo Core. That's $950. That was a big jump. And then that does not come with a lens, and so you add in whatever lens that you want to use. And so we have that Olympus 3x zoom lens that I mentioned, $140. And then one thing I noticed was that each of the cameras needs to have a micro SD card in it. I think this is like a backup in case you lose connectivity. It can restore to the device, but it's something that's like required during the device setup. And so I had to buy a pack of micro SD cards for $40, a new iPad, $540, and then we purchased 3 of the Logitech Mevo brand table stands. They're $110 a piece. We purchased 3 of those. And then you'll see at the bottom that we opted for the subscription to the Mevo Studio. That's the kind of professional app that we're using. And there is a free option for that, but we opted for the subscription for some of the benefits that offers us. I did notice that these stands that the cameras are mounted on are really universal. The cameras have a pretty basic threading at the bottom. They just twist on really, really easily. And so I could have adjusted any kind of standard mic stand to accommodate these cameras as long as they have an option for like a threaded connection at the top. And so I could have gotten $30 microphone stands rather than spending $110 on the Mevo brand ones. The only really nice thing about the Mevo branded stands is that they're hefty. They have a weighted bottom, and so if you have the stand set pretty high, that kind of counterbalances that. So if you're recording outside or in an environment with lots of movement, they're pretty beefy, which is great. So we've invested, if you take into account a couple of cords and cables from the sound system that I'm still fighting with, probably about $3,200 in this project. One other thing that we came across as an issue, let me take down this image, scroll back up. One thing that I invested in this process was a couple of additional Wi-Fi mesh satellites. We use an Orbi system here at the church, which is really a residential system, but it works well in our size of building. And we had 3 satellites throughout the building for our mesh network, but we really need about 5. And so I put in 2 more mesh satellites. There's one right here at the tech desk, and then one right up front. It's sitting behind the communion table right now, just to enhance or strengthen the Wi-Fi connection. We noticed when we were test driving everything that we had all the Wi-Fi bandwidth that we could ever need, and there weren't any obstacles when you're in an empty sanctuary. But as soon as you get 50 people in the room with 2 devices a person, it kind of stretches your bandwidth a little bit. And so if you were to put this system in your church, that might take some customizing for you to make sure you have a strong bandwidth, that you have connectivity in a full room. We have a couple of community groups that use this space, and they pack in a ton of people. You can fit about 200 in here. And I have not tested it with like their Zooming or their big presentations, because I'm even worried that our Orbi system, the mesh that we have in the building, might not be strong enough to accommodate 200 people with multiple devices in their pocket. So that's one thing. That's kind of one tricky thing with a completely wireless Wi-Fi connected system. This might work really well if you're like us with 50 people in a room, or you might need to hardwire a couple of mesh ports to kind of strengthen your signal. And if you needed to hardwire these cameras, there is a product available through Mevo that we have not gotten into. They have like an Ethernet plugin, like an adapter for the camera, where you could hardwire these cameras into your Wi-Fi system. So you wouldn't even have to worry about the variable of broadband or your Wi-Fi. You wouldn't even have to worry about that. So that was one thing that we really had to navigate. One other thing, a couple other things about the app for running the live stream. Very easy. We've now trained 5 volunteers at the church how to do it, and now they're just starting to get their feet wet on Sunday morning by taking the service on. And so we still have people doing their first run with all of this. We just got this all sorted right after Easter, so we're very much so in a learning time. You can do lower thirds if you wanted to do your hymns that way, kind of just occupy the lower half of the screen with your hymns. We do that for like the doxology. We read our church covenant every week, and that's in a lower third. And you can also put a bug in the corner. That's what they call the corner of the screen. That's like for your church logo. You can put that up for like watermarking kind of stuff. And then I showed you the, I like these guys. These are another style, lower third, where you can put people's names up or website information. And you can just tap those on and off. It's kind of fun. And then something that I have not tried yet, but I know is possible, you can sort of embed video. And so if you had a video that you wanted to watch during the service, or like if you used a countdown clock, or if you had a video message that you were running on your screens in the sanctuary, you could, if it's on your cloud, you could upload that for your stream as well. So you can have that directly launched for your online viewers as well. We don't do a lot of kind of embedded video during the worship service here, so it's one thing I have not gotten to play with quite yet. Okay, so once again, this is our product, the products that we purchased. There's that Mevo starter pack, the 3 cameras, the itty bitty cameras, very low profile in our room, the beefy Mevo Core camera that you can interchange your lenses with. And then those are the stands, the hefty weighted stands. And I guess that little gooseneck feature is nice, where you can really get a good angle, especially if you're trying to situate something that works well with a pulpit view. That would be helpful as well. Let me put the cost breakdown page again. Again, we're at about $3,200 for all of this. And then we did add on a couple of mesh satellites, which cost about $400. So we're still under $4,000 all in for all of this. Let me just real quick show you where these are at in our room so you can see them. Because one thing I really like about all this is how low profile things are. You can't even see it. So this is right up front on our organ. You can see up near the banner. That's one of the cameras on their little stand. So very skinny, very easy to miss. And then if I show you the room view, here we are. There's our beautiful sanctuary in Saugatuck. I'm at the back, and I have a camera right in front of me. Again, very low profile, very easy to miss. And then we have one on a tall stand, which I don't have an image of, up by the pulpit. So, yeah, very seamless for a look in your sanctuary as well. So going forward with the Sharing Vitality grant, the goal for that grant, of course, was to foster conversations with our sister churches, because I think we got these funds because many of our churches are starting to look at how do we bring along our live streaming system that we adapted to during COVID, but now technology is advanced. And so this is us taking a baby step in that direction. So if you're in that situation, this could be a good resource for you. But also, so many of us are trying to find ways to validate our our online participants and see our people who are worshiping at a distance and find ways to recognize them and help them feel included. And so that's the kind of the intersection that we're at right now. So we're hoping in a couple of months to re-interview our online worshipers to see if they feel a bit more involved in the space. And for my end of things, I'm working on acknowledging our online participants a bit more at the top of the worship hour and during our prayer request collection time to acknowledge them and just ask people if they're feeling more included and more a part of things. We're trying to build some legitimacy, I guess, and routine and some normalcy with our online folks. Of course, we're all trying to navigate that. Let's see. I'm going to link down below, again, there's my influencer moment, a link to this Sunday's worship service. So you can see this in action. Again, our volunteers are just learning how to do this, and there is a bit of a latency with the slide transitions during the hymns. We're working on that. And so you can see this in action. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to be posting this Monday before the annual meeting, so right before it. But I need to give you a service to check out and see it in action, so you can see if this would work in your space in particular. And we did not film last week, go figure, because we were doing our prayer walk around town, where we actually, the congregation walked the community, which was really fun. Okay, so I think that's where we're at. I hope to see you all in Springfield, where I can answer more questions or ponder or collect your feedback. And yeah, this is a conversation. This is a collaboration, isn't it? One thing I've been pondering, and I think I'll leave it at this, is privacy. I know that some churches have made some policies that really kind of restrict, maybe in a healthy way, personal information, or maybe seeing people in the sanctuary might be a problem. We're trying to do kind of the opposite of that, featuring people in the sanctuary and helping people be a part of the prayer requests. So that might be how you navigate that as a congregation is tricky, and I'm eager to hear how you're navigating that, where your boundaries are and where you're pushing things, and yeah, I'm really curious to know. We're figuring that out as well. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording and wish you all well and see you in Springfield, and I'll get this up and going as soon as I can. Oh, check down below for notes. I'm sure there's be things that I forgot to mention, and I'll link a couple of the products that we purchased along the way. Okay, bye.